everyone, welcome back to Bethany's Vintage Fairy Tale. Thank you so much for being with me today. I can't wait to share with you guys this brand new video for fall. I've created some amazing pumpkin DIYs to share with you guys. I have a few sewn pumpkin options, a few painted pumpkin ones, and then we even have a fun glam DIY at the very end. I cannot wait to share with you guys how everything turned out. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel for weekly inspirational videos, everything to do with heart, family, and home. I would love to have you guys a part of our fairy tale family here on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So for our first DIY, we're going to make these amazing soft fuzzy pumpkins. I'm so excited to share with you guys this tutorial. So we're going to go ahead and cut out our shape. So I'm using a plate to get the size that I'm going for and just kind of measuring it out. And then using a piece of fabric that I've already had cut out, I'm using this as my template for the pumpkin. You can use any size you would like, any size of plate, or you could do a pizza pan if you wanted something larger, or you could do a salad plate if you wanted a smaller pumpkin, and then you just want to cut out that circle to get your shape. So this is how it looks now that we've cut out our circle. I love this fabric because it's got a little bit of a sequin inside of the fuzzy part. And then here, these are the supplies that we're going to be using. So I've got some thread, I've got a needle, and then I've got a Walmart pillow that I'm using for stuffing for the inside of our pumpkins. I find this is the most affordable option for stuffing. It's way cheaper than actually buying stuffing at the store. And then I went to our local forest and grabbed a whole bunch of different stems that we're going to use for the tops of our pumpkins. So I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to double up the thread just so it's a little bit thicker. And then I'm just going to wrap it around the edge of my finger to create a knot. I find this is the best way to make a knot easily, and that's most secure. And now we're going to go ahead and start sewing our pumpkin. So I'm just going around the perimeter of the circle that we've cut out. I'm going fairly close to the edge because the further that you go inside of the circle, the smaller your pumpkin will be. So you kind of want to go a little bit closer to the edge, but not so close that your thread could rip or pop out. So I would say maybe about a centimeter is a good size. And then as you're starting to sew, you're going to see it kind of start to gather. That's what you want to do. Just kind of, I would say maybe about 1 inch per stitch, just so that it's a really loose kind of gathered look. And now that we've got our cute little pouch, you can see our pumpkin starting to come together. We're going to go ahead and add the stuffing straight into the center of our pumpkin. And you can choose how much stuffing you want to put in. If you want a really, really fluffy pumpkin, you can add quite a bit. If you want something more soft and squishy, just kind of open the stuffing a little bit before you put it inside of the pumpkin. But be careful not to overfill, just because it will be really hard to sew at the end. So now that our stuffing is in, I'm going ahead and just pulling the thread a little bit tight, and I'm going to insert our stem just directly into the center here. If you're having a little bit of trouble, you can also add some hot glue that could help to secure it too. And then you're just going to go ahead and start sewing around the perimeter of the stem, just making sure that everything is secure and all of the batting is safely stored inside of the pumpkin. And then once you've gone around the stem a few times, you can sew a couple stitches at the end just to make sure that everything is super secure. You don't want this to come apart, so I would try to go around the stem maybe 5 or 6 times just to make sure that everything is really safely secure. And then once you've finished all of your sewing, go ahead and trim your thread. And then here's how our finished pumpkin turned out. I'm so excited about this, you guys. I purchased a few different kinds of fabrics because I wanted to share with you guys some different tutorial ideas. So for here, we're going to go ahead with a different idea. I kind of wanted to layer some fabrics together. I wanted a lace pumpkin, but with lace, it's quite see-through, and I didn't want to see that batting on the inside of the pumpkin. So I lined it with this stretchy material, and then I'm going ahead and layering the two together. together. I'm just going ahead and using another circle piece just to trim out our pumpkin size. I'm going ahead and trimming out the bottom layer first because I want to make sure that the pumpkins are the same size. And you can see that this is quite a stretchy material, so if you're working with something slippery and stretchy, it is a little bit more difficult to sew, but it actually gathers really, really beautifully because it has that stretch. So it's a really nice option. And you can kind of see how the two fabrics are looking together. It doesn't show up as bright on camera, but this is a beautiful, almost icy blue mixed with Tiffany blue. It's a gorgeous fabric. I absolutely love this one. And then the technique is the same. You're going to go ahead and sew around the perimeter of your pumpkin. You want to make sure that the nice fabric is on the bottom because you want that to show when you're finished your sewing, and the lining fabric will be facing upwards. And you're going to sew between both layers of the fabric, kind of gathering it as you go. You can kind of see here how the fabric's gathered. And then same thing, it's going to make a little pooch again, and then you're going to go ahead and make sure that you're getting all the way down to where you started with the knot at the first place. Oh, it's coming together so beautifully, so excited about this. And then now you're going to go ahead and add in your stuffing. Same thing applies. You can put as much or as little as you want, but be careful not to overfill. And then going ahead and adding in your stem and pulling it tight. You can notice how my needle is still attached as I'm adding in all of our stuffing. You want to keep that needle in there because you don't want to cut any of the thread yet, because otherwise all of that sewing would come undone. So make sure you leave your needle and your thread in place when you're going ahead and adding in your stuffing. And then same thing, go ahead and sew around the perimeter of the pumpkin stem, making sure everything is nice and tight and that it's not going to loosen on you. And then you can see how it turned out. So I absolutely love this one. The color is so pretty, and I don't know if you guys have watched my other videos, but I'm doing a Cinderella themed fall decor for my living room this year, which I'm super excited about. So I've got these really ethereal fabrics. I've got some laces. I've got this beautiful linen fabric, which you're seeing here, that's got kind of a sheen to it. I've got some velvets coming up, so very excited about all the fabrics I was able to find. So special. I absolutely love it. So you can kind of see here the same exact tutorial. I'm just going ahead and using a couple different fabrics. I love adding texture into my home decor. I find it's just so nice and cozy and warm for the holiday season. So I've got lots of different textures with the different kind of stems, the different fabrics. And then I'll be showing you guys in an upcoming video how we're going to go ahead and use all of these DIYs in my living room decor. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. And this is that gorgeous velvet fabric that I was talking about. And velvet was surprisingly really easy to work with. I was surprised. I wasn't sure what it would be like to sew, but it was actually amazing. It was really sturdy and it gathered absolutely beautifully. And I made quite a few different sizes of pumpkins, which you guys will be seeing coming up shortly at the end of the video. So I would love to hear from you guys what kind of fall decor that you're doing this year. Do you guys love glam decor like I do with non-traditional colors, or do you guys love the traditional fall colors with the oranges and the reds? I'd love to hear what you guys are decorating for fall. I'm always so intrigued to see what everyone else likes to do because I always am such an out-of-the-box thinker when it comes to decor. So I'd love to hear from you guys what you guys are loving this year. Typically, I try to do a few different styles of fall decor or any style decor in my house because everyone likes different things, and we live with my mother-in-law and my two brothers-in-law as well. So I kind of like to have a variety of different things around the home. I've got my glam stuff in my living room, and then I've got more traditional fall decor in my dining area just so that everyone can enjoy it. So I love to hear from you guys, like if you guys like stuff like that or if you prefer just one style of decor in your home. I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah, so here's a couple more fabrics. I've got another gorgeous velvet. This one's just a little bit of a lighter tone. And then I've got this amazing pink satin. It was so soft and buttery and just super drapey. It was absolutely gorgeous. This was one of my favorite fabrics. I'm kind of going for the pastel blues. I've got some pastel pinks. I've got that bright pop of navy for a little bit of pizzazz. And I'm just loving how this is coming together. I can't wait to share with you guys all of my Cinderella themed fall decor. I'm so excited for this series. I'm just absolutely loving it. I hope you guys are enjoying this tutorial. Leave me a comment down below if you guys have any questions on how to make these pumpkins. They're super easy and fun to make. So if you guys need any help or any inspiration, let me know. I can definitely help you guys out in the comments down below. So for a couple of the pumpkins, I wanted to add a little bit of that fine touch to them. So with this one, I'm going ahead and adding some lace just to the top of the pumpkin. This is a great way to kind of cover up any stitching that kind of went awry, or if you had any troubles with your fabrics, this is a nice way to kind of hide that and then also make it look super, super cute. I love adding little bits of embellishments to the top of my pumpkins. So I'm just going around with my hot glue gun and kind of gathering the fabric as I go along, just kind of making it look like it's almost ruffled at the very top there. And I've been hot gluing for years, so my fingers are quite tough, but if you guys are sensitive to the hot glue, I would definitely recommend using like a spatula or something to push down the material, or you can use the edge of your scissors, or you can even use those thimbles like for sewing to kind of pat it down, but my fingers are quite tough from years and years of hot glue, so just be careful with the hot glue when you guys are going ahead and applying the lace, because you can burn yourself. But loving how these turned out. I think they're so adorable and so fun, and you can really customize these to any kind of decor style, any kind of trims that you guys love. If you want beads, I'm adding fringe to this pumpkin, lace, all sorts of different options that you guys could do. You can use old clothes and cut off trims from that, thrifted pieces. The sky is the limit when it comes to how you can design these pumpkins. So I'm just going ahead now and adding in some tassels that I got super affordably at our local fabric store here, and I'm just going around and hot gluing the stem to the material. And then just kind of fluffing it out just so that everything is nice and even. And this is how it's looking. I think it's so fun and fabulous. And I've got a couple different trims here, and then you'll kind of see in a little bit, some of the trim is a little bit more sparse, so you can go ahead and layer these if you wanted to. You can do the first layer just kind of how I'm doing here, going around and adding your hot glue, and then you can take another piece and directly hot glue right on top of that if you wanted to make it a little bit fuller, or you can leave it as is depending on what kind of style that you're going for. So you can see here how I've got 2 layers on top of this one. So here's a quick clip of some of the ones that I decided to embellish. I hope you guys are loving these ideas. Super fun and affordable. You guys can get some really fun thrifted pieces to add to your pumpkins, or you could add some sentimental heirlooms to the top of these to make them even more personalized. These would make amazing gifts for a hostess or for a birthday. They're so much fun, and you can even do these with kids too if you just help them out with the hot glue. They're such a fun little craft, and you can really make these your own. So loving how these turned out. Let me know down in the comments below which was your favorite pumpkin that we made so far with these fabric designs. But yeah, here you can see all of the pumpkins I made. I made quite a few, as you can see. I wanted a whole bunch to really tie in my decor this year with the color scheme I was going for. So I made a whole bunch of variety here, and you guys can totally customize these to whatever decor style that you're going for. So absolutely loving this. Let me know what you guys think. So now we're going to kind of switch gears here. I've got this ceramic pumpkin that I picked up on from Michael's on sale, and I wanted to give it some new life with some paint. So I went ahead and I mixed up this blue paint color. I used a few different acrylic paints to get this tone, and I'm just going ahead and adding a light coat to the pumpkin, just covering it nice and evenly. I usually do about 3 coats of paint just to make sure that the color is really showing through. And here you can see how it looks after the first coat. I'm loving this really pretty pastel blue. And now I'm going ahead and adding our second coat of paint just to make sure that the color is looking its best. I love how this is turning out so far, and I love just painting in general. I find it so relaxing. It's a great stress reliever. It's just so much fun, and you can do these with your kids. My daughter always loves to help me out with my painting and crafting, so they're just so much fun. It's so nice to have that little bit of a creative outlet. I absolutely love it. So this is how it's looking now that all of our blue paint has been applied. I'm absolutely loving this. You could leave it as is if you wanted to just keep it the solid color, but I kind of wanted to make it a little bit different. So I'm going ahead and adding in some gold paint. I did a really light coat and kind of stippled it on with my brush so that you could still see the blue color kind of showing through. And now I'm going ahead and just highlighting the natural grooves of the pumpkin just to give it a little bit more of that dimension that I was looking for. And this gold paint is more of a champagne, so it's quite, it's not quite as opaque, so you can really see the blue color kind of coming through, which I really like because I didn't want to take down too much of that color. I just wanted to make it look really regal and special and kind of to go better with my decor style. So here's how it's all looking. On camera, it looks a little bit more dim than it does in person. The blue really shines through the gold paint when you're looking at it in person, so just keep that in mind. The camera does kind of change the look of it a little bit, but I absolutely love how the gold paint really highlighted the pumpkin. I feel like it just gave it that extra special touch that it needed, so loving how it turned out. And then another great idea that you guys can do with your pumpkins is this little guy I actually picked up at HomeSense here in Canada, and I just wasn't crazy about the color of the stem. It was kind of a weird, like, I don't know, pukey green color. I don't know, I just didn't really like it, so I just wanted to change it up to make it fit better with my decor. So I'm just adding in a little bit of masking tape. The stem was really easy to move. I just kind of lifted it up and then put the masking tape underneath. That way I wouldn't get any paint on the velvet material. And it's super easy to remove as well, so you don't have to worry about it ruining the fabric or anything like that. And then I'm going ahead and just adding in the same blue paint that we used for our previous pumpkin. That way everything just ties together, and then it just gets rid of that really ugly color that was there before. How it's looking. Super simple, a really easy fun DIY, but loved how it turned out. So we're gonna go ahead and do another pumpkin here. This is the same pumpkin from Michael's. Again, I got it on sale. They had buy one, get one free, so a really good deal. And I wanted to add a navy. So I wanted that really nice pop of color because I usually decorate with pastels. And I've been finding lately, like when you use light colors, everything kind of just looks one tone. It's really nice to have that one darker, brighter color just to kind of bring that pop back to your decor. So I wanted a really nice statement piece. So I mixed up this navy paint, just using a couple different blues, and I put in a little touch of black that I had on hand, and I applied 2 coats. I'm just going ahead and adding a little bit more of a brighter blue on top because as it was drying down, it was getting very, very dark, almost black, and I didn't want it that dark because it wouldn't quite match the decor. So I'm just adding a little bit more blue paint, and again, it looks a little bit brighter than it does in person on camera, but loving how it's turning out. And then, like I said, I'm going for a really big statement with this pumpkin. So we are going to bedazzle this pumpkin. So if you're like me and love glam and sparkle, this is definitely going to be the DIY for you. I absolutely love a little bit of sparkle during the holiday seasonal time. So super excited. We're going to be just decorating the top part of the pumpkin so we can still see that gorgeous paint. And I'm just going ahead and mixing up all of the different materials. I've got some sequins. I've got some glass beads. We've got lots of different textures and colors, all different shades of blue, and I've got a little bit of cream and a little bit of gold as well. And then for the special touch, I wanted to add in some pearls. So I found a huge bag of pearls at my local thrift store for like, I think it was $3 for a ginormous bag. So I'm going ahead and adding those in. I wanted, again, something really regal since I'm going for Cinderella, something very princessy and really pretty. And now we're going to go ahead and add our hot glue. So like I said, we're going to decorate the top of our pumpkin here, only about 1/4 of the way down so that we can still see the gorgeous navy blue paint that's coming through. And then you just add your hot glue and then go ahead and pour your beads or your decorative mixture just straight on top. There's no wrong way to do this, you guys. It is a little bit messy, so you'll want to make sure you have some paper or a bucket just to make sure that you kind of keep those contained because it is a little bit of a messy project, but it turns out so beautiful. And with a decor style like this, you could really customize this as well. This would be a great idea for a kid's birthday party. You could do this for all kinds of different themes and styles and different colors. They're so much fun to create and you can really make it your own. I love glam, so this just really speaks to me. I absolutely love a little bit of sparkle during the holiday season. So you can kind of see how it's starting to turn out now. I'm just going adding more hot glue and more beads and just kind of going around and seeing where the holes are and then just adding more depending on where we need it. So here's how it's all turning out. I did the top of the stem as well, added a few more beads to the top to make it look really ethereal. I love how this turned out. I'm so excited. It was so much fun to create. And then a good tip that you guys can do for this as well, just to make sure that the beads stay really intact and nothing falls off, you can spray it with a sealant on top outside. That would really help just to make sure that everything would stay attached and you wouldn't get any pearls. Of course, there is going to be a little bit of fallout with a DIY like this, but if you use a sealant spray, you can get it at Michael's or your local Home Depot, anything like that, and that would just kind of help to seal it in a little bit as well. So now I'm just doing the same thing as we did with the other pumpkin. I'm just painting the stem just to change it up a little bit. I'm painting it with that same navy colored paint that we used on our Glam pumpkin, just going ahead and making sure to get all of it nice and even. And I wanted it to kind of blend in with our other Glam pumpkin, so I'm going to go ahead and bedazzle this one as well. Loving how the stem looks painted too. You could leave it as is, or you could change it up with your embellishments, whatever kind of look that you guys love. And I'm using the same mixture that we did on the other pumpkin and just adding hot glue and going around and adding all of the embellishments. And then as you do this, just kind of look to see where the holes are, where you're kind of missing it, and then you can go ahead and add more hot glue on top of it if you need to add a little bit more, and just make sure to shake it off really thoroughly to make sure you get off any excess that's kind of loosely hanging on there. That way everything is nice and secure. So much fun to do. I absolutely love decorating and using glitter and paint and just changing up the things that you could buy at the store. Just giving it that kind of personalized touch I find is just so much fun, and my daughter loves doing this with me. My husband absolutely loves how cozy our house feels with all the different decor, so he's super supportive, which I'm so thankful for. Couldn't do this without my family, so absolutely love it. So for our next DIY, this is a super fun, simple DIY. I picked up these pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. They're just a styrofoam pumpkin. They're kind of a creamy yellow color, and I wanted to give them some new life as well. So I'm going ahead and adding in some paint. This is kind of a similar color that we used for our first pumpkin. For these pumpkins, I think I did about 2 coats just to make sure that the styrofoam was evenly covered. And then using the stems that are already attached, I'm just adding them into some foam. That way they can dry and they don't touch each other. And with these kind of little pumpkins, you can use these for a variety of different things. You can use them as a bowl filler. You can use them on your tiered trays just as little accent pieces. You can use them in your wreaths. You can attach them to garlands. You can have them just on their own on a little shelf. There's so many things you can do with them. You can leave the stems on for attaching to certain things, or you can take them off and put them in a cute little bowl. They're really fun, and you can personalize them as well. You can paint these in traditional colors. You could do another kind of, non-traditional decor style, or you could do what I'm doing with the blues and pinks. It's really nice to just kind of change up the look, and super fun and easy, very affordable option for your decor. And then now that I'm finished with the blue ones, I wanted to make some pink as well, because those are the 2 main colors that I'm doing for my Cinderella themed fall decor this year. And I usually try to mix up the paints to give it a little bit of a different color than just what's in the bottle. So I usually use a variety of reds and pinks, and then I mix in some creams and a little bit of brown just to kind of give it that warm, creamy color. I was always taught that in art school, that you never want to use paint just straight out of the bottle. It's always best to blend it and mix it to make it your own color, and that way you just make it a little bit more different and special. So here you can see how they're all looking now that they're drying. I love these colors. They're nice and muted. They'll definitely tone in with my decor. You could embellish these as well if you wanted to add some lace or some pearls, or you can leave them plain painted too. Lots of different options, which I love. So now I'm going to go ahead, and for these pumpkins in particular, I wanted to use them as a bowl filler for my tiered tray. So I've got this gorgeous little heart bowl that I've had for years, and then I'm just taking out the little stems, just pulling them out of the bottom of the pumpkin. They come out super easily, and just putting them in a little bowl just for a cute little filler. I love how these are looking. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I had so much fun sharing with you guys all of these different DIY pumpkin ideas. I hope you got lots of inspiration for your decor. You can do this on a total budget. Just grab some thrifted pieces, some things from the dollar store, and make your decor totally your own. So I hope you guys loved it. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you guys a part of the Fairytale family here on YouTube. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.